Good morning, guys. Today in our devotion, we're going to be in Colossians 2. But before we get there, I'm going to teach you some tricks of the trade on how to grow really good tomatoes, right? Because in the South, there's probably no vegetable that's grown more at home than a tomato. And the greatest summer sandwich is a tomato sandwich on white bread with some Duke's mayo. No Miracle Whip, but with Duke's mayo or Blue Plate. But that's enough mayo talk. But this right here is the tomato plant right here. And if you'll notice, obviously, it's probably like 4 inches tall. I don't know why I'm giving you the stats of the plant. But one of the tricks is planting this plant deeper than the current root system is. So if you look at this plant, the root system is like 3 inches right here. And then the stem itself is probably another 3 inches, right? But if you look closely, all these little spindles on the side of this plant will actually become roots if they have contact with the ground, right? So what you want to do is pull off all of these little branches right here, all these little stems right here, and plant it all the way up to the very top, to like that part and up is out of the ground, because now you've then doubled your root system, right? And as we know, in Georgia, it's already 1,000 degrees in May, but in June and July, it's super hot, right? And we know that the water on the top obviously evaporates first, but if you have a deeper root system, then that plant can survive even in the harshest of climates, right? And that's similar to what Paul is talking about in Colossians 2 verses 6 through 7. This is what he says right here. So then, just as you received Christ Jesus as Lord, continue in your lives in him, rooted and built up in him, strengthened in the faith as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness. Rooted and built up in him, right? Our life with Christ is not meant to just be surface level and shallow, right? We understand who Jesus is, and then that's kind of the end of it. No, our life in him, that's where we start. And then after that, we grow deeper and deeper in him. And in turn, that makes us, that allows us to produce more and more spiritual fruit, right? So, if you're going through a pattern in your life, you're like, hey, I don't really see much fruit here, right? And especially in this past year, I think we've all kind of asked ourselves that question. But one of the things we can do is we can check our roots. Are our roots growing deep down into Jesus? And if they are, then eventually we'll be overflowing with spiritual fruit, like Paul says here in verses 6 and 7. But that is it for today. When you're planting your tomatoes, plant them deep.